This is April Schulteis, using the computer to generate this message. I'm just a regular person. I actually bought the lie that most churches are against Satan, but if you're in a fight against the devil, you might find, like I did, that churches are not the good guys. They are not righteous judges following God's laws, or like cops who save you from being robbed. No, churches are like bandits, ripping you off. If you go to a church for help against Satan, you could very well find the church is on Satan's side. Many churches are more like the thieves in the parable of the Good Samaritan than they are like the Samaritan. They're actually worse than the priests and Levites who passed by the man who was stripped and left for dead. Churches don't just pass by a victim, sticking their noses up in the air. They actually side with Satan, beating up the person who was robbed. Here's what happened to me. I found out a black occultist at work in church was impersonating the Lord on the astral plane. I suffered for years before I found this out. He was using the dark arts against me. He was into witchcraft. I tried to get rid of the man by reading scriptures in private, to kick him out, and I stopped going to church. But of course he was still at work. I did my best to avoid my assailant, and I was privately reading scriptures to get him to leave me alone. I even used scriptures about casting out devils, in private. That's it, nothing else. Everyone, and I mean, everyone, came out in the open to help him. The bullying at work got much, much worse, right when I thought it couldn't. These people are like Roman gods. They use science of the mind, and astral plane attack, to impersonate God. Things got so bad, I eventually went for help with exorcism directly to an entirely different church, not the church where I previously had been regularly attending, but an entirely different denomination. Now, you might think, things would get better after that. After all, this church had an exorcism office. They should have helped me, but you would be wrong. Things got worse. All hell broke loose. The whole world came after me directly. They took away my job. I was exposed to COVID. They took away my vacation pay, my sick leave, and my medical coverage. They cut off my income, blocked my 403b money and retirement, and tried to kill me for an extended period of time. I found out later my employer gets my retirement if I die. They poisoned my dogs. They cut my phone. They cut my internet. They cut my power. They sabotaged my cars. They kept it up while I was sick. All of this time, I had numerous direct assaults on me, but no actual help. Finally, against all odds, I survived, and was trying to fight my way out of the sub-zero hole I was put in. Let me repeat this, after I sought help from a church with exorcism, I had been essentially buried alive, and left that way, with periodic additional kicks in my teeth to make sure I died, and the attacks haven't actually stopped, either. But at this time, I contacted a completely different church, still expecting that there were churches somewhere who were against evil. I was very clear that I was in a fight against Satan, for no reason at all. This church ripped me apart, and told me I was no good genetically in the sight of God. Yes, genetically, and all during the time I was informed my mother had died. In fact, 3 days after I emailed this church, I was told my mother was dead. That's the third day, and the third day is used by secret societies. It can't be a coincidence. I don't know much about secret societies, but I know this much: the numbers 3, 7, and 8 are used by secret societies to justify all kinds of attacks on innocent people. During the time that this particular church attacked me, my power was cut, and I was injured, and the church that insisted my genetics weren't good enough for God just kept demeaning me. There was no cause for it at all. Too late, I found out churches are in on Satan's secrets. They're helping the devil. It's a secret that people are impersonating God on the astral plane. It's a secret, and churches are helping to guard it. They are thieves, bandits, coming to steal, kill, and destroy. This is Rome. We're still dealing with Herod and Rome. Rome invaded Native America, and forced indigenous peoples into slavery, and practiced genocide against the native tribes. And Rome is supported by secret societies, and their secret is hypnosis. Rome is ruthless. Native American peoples have suffered under Rome through widespread elimination and assimilation. Genocide is always wrong, always. I grew up in the Grey Eagle, California area. I was told the indigenous peoples simply moved on when the railroad came to Portola. Now I'm sure the truth is something awful. Be warned, the realm of thought is real. Fight back. Practice psychic self-defense. Do not have sex. Do not eat meat. Read the Bible. Respect all life. The scriptures say, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, He is one God, and to him we submit, and we shall love the Lord our God with all our heart, and with all our soul, and with all our might.